Hello, love wrestling. It's Thursday night. It's 8 p.m. And you know what that means. It's another new episode of Between Two Beards.
Can we start off with the biggest news of the week? The Rats lost! If you've got the budget, I've got the time.
There he is.
Hey, boss!
There's the boss.
Hey! The man with the finest beard on this screen. Canadian boys, shut the hell up. Let me talk.
You see, the Rads are resourceful. When I got beef with somebody, I can find a way to talk to them.
And listen between two beers.
Hello, love wrestling. It is 8 p.m. It is Thursday night. And you know what that means. We got Ophelia doing my lines in the chat. It's true.
I mean, I know what it means. We're here, but like, there's just nothing going on in wrestling this week.
Slow week.
I'm not quite sure. We got Omar in the house. What's up, Omar?
We got Claudio.
Claudia said, "Man, this got suggested to you already. That's good. That means
the best entrance music in the biz. It's the best entrance theme in the biz. We do have a big time guest tonight. One of our favorites returning for the first time in a little bit. Glad to have him back with us in just a few seconds.
He's too good for us anymore.
He is. But you know what? He was available, and we've missed him so we were like,
the check had to be doubled.
Yeah, it did. It did. But we got everyone in the chat: Scott, Claudio, Omar, Spencer behind the curtain.
And if you're in the chat,
do it. Sorry.
Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, share this out to your friends, your family, your loved ones. Let them know that Thursday nights is beard night. And then if you're on Twitter, hit that retweet button. I think it's called what they call it nowadays, or repost. I don't know what he's calling it, but it's on that X thing. And do all that. Yeah. Get them out there. Kelly Tonjes is in the house. Good evening, everyone. What's happening?
And the boss,
they want him. They need him.
The boss said, "You know what makes me happy? Mr. Warren Hayes makes me happy." That's what the boss said. Omar saying he missed Warren Hayes so much. Glad to see him here. Well, let's see him.
God.
Here he is.
Mr.
Warren Hayes.
Mr. Warren Hayes, everybody. Fabulous. All right, Ed. Good night.
Go over.
That's it, boys. See you later.
What's going on?
We're gonna clear the air right now. It's like, oh, he's too good for us. He's got to double the check. Not as if the guy, underwent open heart surgery a couple of months ago and is recuperating, hasn't been doing jack shit.
You stop it. You stop it right there.
We're not going to bury me tonight. I'll tell you what.
Beard's open heart surgery. You've got to make a decision.
Yeah. Saying, dude, what?
Getting healthy or coming on this show and talking about the nonsense that we talk, Warren.
Listen, it has been an issue of debate between me and my medical personnel that are keeping an eye on me. I was like, look, I have to. What about Between Two Beards? And they go, that is Between Two Beards, because they're French,
Yeah.
We'll
shoot that. For those that don't know, the Discord specifically told me, PLUGGO, to not give you a heart attack tonight. The fans in your Discord were like, please
They were
don't
like,
give
"Take
Warren a
it
heart
easy,"
attack.
which we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a good time. In all seriousness, feeling much better,
Yeah,
feeling
welcome
good,
back.
sir.
I honestly would thank you. Yes, and I wouldn't be here if I wasn't feeling much better than a couple of months ago. I'm doing quite well. Starting solely back work next week. The shoot job is going to be back on
nice.
track.
All right.
So yeah, things are we're getting back to where I should be. Let's put it that way.
All right, love it. All right, well, we are super happy to have you here. There is a whole lot of things to discuss. We came on. We were like, obviously, we're gonna we're gonna talk some WrestleMania. We'll recap the big weekend there and WWE and their weekend that they had, and then AEW on Dynamite. They decided to, promote that the EVPs, Nicholas and Matthew Jackson, the next
our
AEW
EVPs.
tag team champions, if you ask me. We're going to show some footage and talk about All In for the first time publicly. We are going to talk about WrestleMania, but I want to talk about this right out the chute. We don't have to dive into the whole episode of AEW. You can watch me Sunday mornings on Firmly AEW here. Warren also does AEW Dynamite Talk, a lovely review that he's started to do again that I've enjoyed these last few weeks here. But, it happened. They showed the footage. They played it into,
That's a pretty spot on analysis. It happened.
Yeah, it happened. And they kind of tied it into their angle with FTR, who was their opponents at Dynasty for the championship. This was okay. I'm glad I saw the footage just to see the footage, I guess. But to me, this was just a whole big pile of nothing. This did nothing for me at all. I'm not one of these people that is going to sit here and say, this is the end of AEW. They jumped the shark, and I'm not going to do that type of thing. But it was just dumb. It didn't. What did this do? What did this serve AEW at all? At all? Do you need this to build a feud between the friggin' Young Bucks and FTR, arguably two of the best tag teams of the last decade? You need something.
Yes.
You need to show that. Isn't fighting for the titles the story? Is that I don't know. Again, obviously I'll let you go.
Finishing a tournament, like it's the finals of the tournament. There you go.
Yeah.
That's just as simple as that.
Yeah, and to me,
which I had completely forgotten about.
Yeah. And the video, was it a word for word tale that CM Punk said talking to Helwani a week ago? No, but it basically showed what CM Punk said happened.
Aside from some tiny embellishments.
Yeah. Of course.
Embellishments that don't even ultimately matter. It's like, oh, he didn't say that he flipped equipment towards Tony Khan. All right.
That's true.
He did say he called him a clown and told him to, screw off.
Dick rocks, baby.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
He had said originally, like the original reports from Fightful, he had said Jack Perry got in his space, and they did a shoulder bump and all that. Well, that's not quite what happened. Again, an embellishment, but ultimately, who cares? Does CM Punk come across as an aggressive jerky jerk face? Yes, but we already knew he was that.
Yeah, all of us already knew he was that type of guy.
Yeah, no, but that's the thing. Like, I even posited the question, like, who is this for? Like, ultimately, who is this for? Not only because you're right, JPJ, when you say, what did this accomplish? What did this do? But you stress this out. It's like, who is this for? The CM Punk fans are not suddenly going to turn against them. It was like, oh my God, he shoved Jack Perry unprovoked. Yeah. They're not going to do that. The AEW fans are not going to go, well, he's much more docile than I believed he was. Yes, I believe I shall side with CM Punk. They're not going to do that. The AEW haters aren't going to budge either. The AEW lovers, It's like, what's the win here? Ultimately, what it turns out to be is a very strong candidate for the 2024 Observer Awards for the worst promotional tactic of the year.
Worst moment of the year. Yeah. How do you like? I'm sitting there, I'm hustling home Wednesday to get home to watch this thing, and this show, they had the countdown clock to the EVPs, a little dig at code. It's just like, oh boy. Punk said what he said. It's CM Punk. We know who he is, like you guys all said. And then I'm sitting there, I'm a Punk stan, and I'm like, all right. He said what he said on the podcast. They're clearly upset about it. They're going to air footage, which if I'm just a person of like just not in the know of all this, and I go, oh, they're going to air this footage based off of what he said, they must really have something here. Right? Like you're sitting there and you're going, they got to have something fucking incredible. We're at 11 minutes.
The smoking gun.
Yeah, that is going to make what he said look absolutely ridiculous. And guess what? They didn't. Even if you like break it down and you're like, okay, he was an aggressor. Yes, he was. That was wrong. Like you said, it didn't gain you much. It didn't sway anybody that was already swayed. I mean, it sold out some t-shirts for Jack Perry. There is a groundswell of support now for Jack Perry going, why was he suspended? You shouldn't put your hands on people in the workplace, which I completely get. I'm on board with that. I'm not defending Punk here, but was it worth the 10 minutes of airtime that you could have given to something else last night? Did the 50,000 more viewers that they had, did they net anything, considering everyone today is like, it is the death of AEW?
The finger poke of doom for AEW.
Finger poke of doom. But it's just like, I sat there and I watched it and I was just like, oh, okay. So it was, that was a choice.
Yeah.
I did like how the Bucks tied it into the FTR story. I did like how they kind of just didn't air it. And I if I may keep going. So I'm sitting there, countdown, we're there.
He's
Bucks
asking me if he can keep going in his
show. It's JPJ's show, as he's said multiple times.
What? That is not true. I have never.
No,
I have never.
So the Bucks, they tie it in, and I'm like, okay, they tied it into a story. All right. I'll give you some leeway. They air the footage. The footage was what it was. FTR comes out and cuts this really passionate, like, I'm done talking about it. Let's move on. I'm sick of talking.
They're basically us. They're basically us.
Yeah, they're us going, listen, like, if you guys don't want to be here, we'll stay and we'll run this. We're just tired of that. And I was like, oh, cool. This will be the culmination of this whole thing. This match at Dynasty. I'm like, okay. I'm like, stop worrying about people in other companies. They're going to just put it out here. And then Will Ospreay goes in on Triple H immediately after FTR. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't mind shots in my wrestling programs. It just felt really
rebuttal, technically.
But still, it felt really odd to do that back to the FTR promo where they just said, we're going to squash all this. We're done worrying about everybody else.
Last week, you had Adam Copeland in the ring saying positivity, we're looking forward. And then on Saturday, it's like, we're airing footage of all in. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Exactly. Right? That's what I'm saying. Pick a side. Stick with the side. You can't have half of your roster being like, peace, love, and we don't want to worry about them. And the other half, like, they bang the boss's daughter. You gotta pick a lane.
Which was funny.
It
was really funny though.
I was like, I was like, now granted, as the internet has told me today, it is a 20-year-old joke that everybody uses. Yes, true, but it's not usually said on another program.
It's fine. It's a classic. Sometimes you pull out the classics. Sometimes it's like it's like a breath of fresh air.
And like Spencer in the chat is saying, like, I don't think it was a rebuttal because Triple H's comments were they tried to sign a few people, and he said that he didn't look at did he use the word easier? He didn't look
yes,
at.
He did use easier.
I thought he used easier, right? He didn't look at people wanting an easier schedule,
Easier
as people
schedule,
that he wanted because they don't want to work hard. Basically, was kind of like a sum of the words, not verbatim, but
I think it's a hell of a pitch to go to a wrestler and say, "We'll pay you less, but you'll work more."
Yeah,
you know, I don't know how anyone
isn't that the goal?
Since we're on the sidebar, I think it's a tremendous pitch to toss to a pro wrestler, just about anyone. Like you guys, like if anyone came to you and they were like, "Hey, you got the, I'm going to make you a job offer, and you're gonna work 7 more hours a week, and I'm not going to give you a raise. But man, we need grinders. We need people who are there, who believe in what we're doing, and who are ready to put in the work." You're probably going to go, I don't know. I'm not sure. Look, and it's not as if Triple H is running like a plucky startup, where that's the mentality. I've worked in 2 startups in my lifetime, so I can speak from experience that when you do the startup thing, you are taking a hit on salary, but you're opening yourself up to, and you're also opening yourself up to more hours, but it's passion projects, it's creative, and everyone is on the same level. Like even the boss is on the same level as you. Everyone's pushing forward. You're just, you want this thing to kick off. So when it does kick off, you get a little more something back, right? WWE is $1 billion company. Like, what are we doing? Like, why does Triple H go in here and saying, "Oh, well, I want people who are ready to work more for less"? That makes 0 sense. Like, that is the worst pitch.
You gotta want the grind, brother. We got a lot of chatter in the chat today.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to make sure your comment gets read on the air, leave us a super chat.
I mean,
but that wasn't the only thing. He wasn't the
Oh,
only person. Yeah, if you want to, of course, if you have the
pay
means,
the boys, pay the boys.
We appreciate you. But that wasn't it. That was the Triple H's comments. Jade took some shots at the company because she was asked Mania week. Brandy took some shots at the company.
But wasn't
CM Punk did. But it was just like, it's whatever.
And this is WrestleMania week. And I heard all of their top stars talking about AEW, right? What are we like? So if we come back to our topic, right? If we just circle back.
Oh, look at him keeping our show on the rails. He's a changed man.
You get a moment of clarity. You go towards the light, and then you see things, and like, I should keep things. I should keep things streamlined. Look, you're Tony Khan, okay? And again, I'm devil's advocating here. I'm just throwing stuff out. Look, he was obviously. I'm trying to say too many things at once. I think we're all in agreement that if CM Punk never speaks a word of this on Ariel Helwani, this never happens. Correct? Are we
Yes.
comfortable with that?
I would imagine so. Yeah.
Why else would? The only reason Tony Khan did this is because it got to him. He got. Right? That's it. And I can't even blame him for feeling that way, because AEW is ridiculously under scrutiny by all sorts of people, and reasonable people, but also a massive amount of weirdos, right? It's a company that every little thing they do is picked apart, split apart, sniffed, tasted, listened to, like
damned
everything.
If they do, damned if they don't.
Exactly. So you can't and there's a whole industry within the wrestling podcast universe based on bashing AEW.
I wonder who you're talking about.
I got a couple of examples that we could throw out there, but I ain't burning any bridges for our boy Spencer here. But so at some point, like if I'm Tony Khan, and I'm not, but at some point, with all the negativity and the false spins and the business is failing, when at some point, I think you just reach a moment where where you can't take it anymore. And I think CM Punk was the straw that broke the camel's back, and he just snapped. And he's like, okay, I'm tired of not doing anything, of trying to take the high road or whatever strategy they're doing. I'm tired of this. Because he has free run, leaking to media, talking to Helwani, giving his side of the story to everyone that'll listen, right? Mm-hmm. And And Tony Khan is not. He's not saying a word. So okay, I'm done. I'm done with this. Was this the best course of action? Probably not. But I can understand what brought him to this point, which I think was ill-advised. But
I will say, in all fairness, the last few, like the last month or so, maybe 6 weeks or so of Dynamite has been like, felt like they were getting their footing, felt like they were kind of distancing themselves from as many shots and the over the head stuff.
And that's what's weird.
I think Spencer makes a good point, though. They did do it on their flagship show in the middle of it, which, not a great look.
The action, like, I'm not excusing the action because I think it was it was ill-advised. Someone should have really sat Tony down and said, "No, we're not doing this, Tony," kind of thing.
Yeah.
But this is clearly something that Tony wanted to do because he like I said, he got to. And like Pluggo just said, for the past few months, ever since last fall, ever since when they started the Continental Classic, the whole restore the feeling thing, you could feel they were moving on from all the darkness, scrubbing the dark cloud away from everything right down to the bone. Let's focus on what we do good, and that's great wrestling. And the C2 was great, and then we go into Revolution. Revolution was one of the greatest pay-per-views of all time, and then we circle back to this bullshit that I feel like a lot of AEW fans are really fed up about because it was a detriment to their enjoyment of the company. It was a detriment to what was happening in the ring. It was a detriment business-wise for the company as well. So I think everyone wants to move away from this. We're reiterating stuff that we don't want to think about again for a long, long time. Let's move on. Hopefully the FTR rah-rah speech that they gave is not going to be like Adam Copeland's, where next week they do something else related to CM Punk. I hope not,
Yeah, no, I hope this is the end of it now. Hopefully.
But I mean, look, I think we've all been around wrestling fans enough to know that it will not be the end. What I'm because wrestling fans will never let this go. It's like the Montreal screw job. It's like 93,000 people in the Pontiac Silverdome. It's still things that people talk about and argue about to this day because we can't let this stuff go.
Where were you the day they aired the footage?
That kind of thing. So we'll eventually fans will continue talking about it, but I hope that AEW as an entity, as a structure, as an entertainment program, I hope they just bury that away and really never relitigate this again because we really don't need to. And it blew up in their face. I mean, lesson learned, if anything here. Don't do this shit again. Unless you've really got something, right? And even then, I'm still sitting there because Punk fans are so CM Punk fans. They're not, that guy could do no wrong. He could have taken out a gun and pistol whipped Jack Perry, and they'd be like, he shouldn't have been talking shit. Because that's the sentiment today. Outside so of him, you didn't win here. It felt oh man, and then outside of him grabbing Larry and using Larry to swat him across, Perry's face. Punk's got a punk, man, and which is unfortunate, but it was a wild night last night for AEW. I don't know if I left the show feeling good or not. I still haven't figured out. It left a bad taste, I think, for the rest of the show. I think it did too. I think it did as well. And it just everything felt weird. But people that are calling for the death of AEW, it happens every 3 weeks, regardless. Something happens on the show.
Yeah. It feels like that is the case. That every few weeks or every month something happens, and it's like this is the end. And
the Darby spot at Revolution. Everybody's like, how dare you?
Yeah, at some point. Yeah, they're going to sign
Okada won a championship.
They're going to sign a big-time new contract, and it's going to prove that AEW ain't going anywhere, guys. All right, they're just not. It's just you got to give it up. Those people that are so, if you don't like it, don't like it. Watch something else. It's cool. It's chill. Not everything's for everybody. No, it's just very bizarre. Because like
What?
AEW came out, and I feel like when
It just-
AEW first came out, everybody had the sentiment of like, holy crap, this is awesome. This is great for wrestling. Cool. And then very quickly it was, oh, this is really good. I like this. You can't like anything else. And it's like, okay.
Or it's
well,
like
great.
it's not as good because the people who the whole there's a bunch of people who didn't get jobs with AEW, so then they started creating podcasts where they started breaking it down.
But you're not wrong. I like that. I've been thinking a lot about that today too. Like, was the shot ill-advised? Yeah, you probably shouldn't have taken the shot. That the way they went about it, probably not a good idea. But had they not said anything, everybody'd be like, "Oh, they're too scared of the big bet." Like,
There you
you're
go.
not
I would have
wrong.
never heard the end of show the footage.
I
You
was
gotta
actually-
show the footage.
I was actually talking to some people today about it. They were asking my opinion on it, and I was just like, AEW is in this weird bubble where like WWE tribalism fans like will not hear it. They don't care what metric you use or what match you show them. It's not WWE, so they don't care. They're not going to ever believe it's ever any good. AEW fans, the tribalistic ones, are like, this program is perfect. There are no problems. We're all ride or die, which whatever, that's fine. But if you can't look at it objectively and go, there's some miscues here. There are some things that AEW could do to turn up, but AEW is under a microscope where like, even if they try to do the program that people want them to do, they're like, now it's too WWE, like, get back to your roots. And then when they go back to their roots and they do the crazy spots, that was just ridiculous. How could you jump into a pane of glass like that? You can't win.
You said it
You
earlier,
can't win.
Pluggo. It's a damned if you do, damned if you
They're
don't.
just
Like,
they're in a
it is
weird
what it
spot.
is.
Now Tony Khan. I love the people that were like, Tony Khan should have came out and did the Adam Copeland speech last week. Yeah,
No.
I would have loved to have
No, you
seen.
don't.
No, he
You
shouldn't.
think
He picked
think
he
last
picked the
night
right
was
guy.
bad?
He picked the right guy to do that speech. He picked the
Those
right guy
guys
to
are
do
like,
that.
why doesn't Tony speak up for himself? Because you'll absolutely bury him and
Yes.
say that he's a coward.
But no, but even regardless, like have you guys been to a live show, an AEW live show?
I was at the Dynamite that Edge gave.
They'll be in Indy next
that was-
week. I'm hoping if anybody wants to buy me a ticket.
Yeah.
Tony Khan comes out, right? Usually at the start of the show when he
Multiple
and he
times.
hypes up the crowd. He's a terrible public speaker.
Oh,
like
Yeah.
everybody ready for a good episode of Dynamite!
Remember when he said Giannis onto the Kubo? We got some super chats.
We do.
In
We
the
got
house. We're
a long
flying.
time pal of Warren Hayes, DGMC,
Yeah.
sends a super chat. He says, "When do we get the CCTV footage of the Warren, Goldberg, Nia Jax, Bischoff, Jackson Riker, Tamina, whoever else he hates in this world shoot fight?" That's what he wants.
We'll need a few more super chats than that, Warren, I bet.
And then Ryan Sullivan, our boy Sully, says, "I don't think the footage killed the night. I think Jericho did that."
Yeah, get away from Hook. I'm gonna start a change.org petition. And I like
dang,
Spencer.
DGMC was at the very first Dynamite in Washington,
very
D.C.
cool.
I was at the second one where the Private Party beat the Young Bucks. Lawrence, I think he's referring to Tony Khan. He says he has zero charisma. Zero charisma.
He does. I mean,
Thank you both for the super chats. Appreciate you guys.
and I know that it sounds like we're making a bunch of excuses for AEW and we're saying like they've made mistakes, but they are also a company that's 5 years old.
Yep.
They just had WrestleMania 40.
Yeah.
No, but
But the WWE's also been through some shit.
But these
I'm
are
just
not
saying, yeah,
excuses. They're not excuses. They're very fair observations to have, in my opinion. And even more than my opinion, I believe it. Like I think that if you compare, you want to do a compare. It doesn't make any sense. You've got one company that's 5 years old, like you say. The other has 40 years ahead of 35 years of ahead of it. It doesn't make any sense. And what a lot of people, and I understand, you understand a lot of these people are either very bad faith. A lot of them are children as well, who are posting wildly out on the internet. And a lot of people don't understand is that for a company 5 years old, and I don't care if it's sports entertainment or any other type of media proposal that would end up on TV with TV time, a 5-year-old company that getting this type of exposure and contract and money is a success. I don't know what to. It's not $1 billion WWE Saudi money success, okay, but we're not. Again, it's a company that's been around for 40 years. Like, if anything, that makes sense. These guys are 5 years in, and look at Impact. Look at TNA Impact. Yeah. How long they've been around, and they're still around, but no one goes around saying they're a failure for their 0.06 rating on Access on Thursday nights, or whatever.
Well, it's because they go up against us. It's kind of hard to get viewers.
I know.
You're always going to be aiming for second place at best,
But it's like, but that's the thing, is like, you always end up with these situations where you're like, if you compare with the market leader, no one will ever do anything. It's like, if back in the day, Macintosh had looked at IBM, they're like, oh no, sorry, we'll never be able to do something like IBM. In our first 5 years, we're a failure. We'll just, we'll close up shop. Well, that's it. There's no Apple anything afterwards.
Yeah.
It's just kids who have no understanding, or grown adults who are still stuck in the mentality of the Monday Night Wars, when everything in regards to television business has changed since 1996, 1997. God, yeah. So,
yeah. No, I'm with you. I know you want to say his name, but I don't think he'll ever come on this program. But yeah, Eric Bischoff makes a killing.
I love Spenny too much. And I'm not causing any issues.
Bischoff loves making money off of AEW.
He
loves it.
He's been on AEW multiple times as well.
He doesn't mind taking their checks.
Like, literally been on the show multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
I
segment paid to be there.
Yeah.
He's a fraud. He's a fraud. Yeah. He's a 100% fraud. He's a guy. He's a guy whose only claim to fame is his goddamn 83 weeks. That's it. Everything else, he's run into the ground and has never been able to recapture that success. And even his other business ventures haven't worked. How many times has he declared bankruptcy, etc., etc.? He's a fraud. Anyone who thinks he has any kind of business acumen, well
now I'm in trouble. Well, next week will be Between Two Beards with Warren Hayes and JPJ. I care about the budget. I've seen the light. I haven't spent. Warren gave us a discount
before we changed.
We made 2 super chats back.
We did. Before we change topic, one more thing about AEW.
We made $10.
Yeah, they had a segment last night where, at least at the end of it, Mercedes Moné got attacked. And so there was more than just her chatting the whole time. They're not going to make us wait till Double or Nothing for her first match, are they? They're not.
Yes, they are. They said, didn't they?
They said that was going to be her first match. That was like on tape that way.
I think so. And
why
by the way,
why would you do that?
Well, because they need more build for her to get ready to fight Alex Marvez, who obviously is the guy who attacked her.
Marvez.
Go
with JPJ. Go ahead.
As somebody who is a big time Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks fan from Massachusetts, like I've watched her for a long time. Her specialty is wrestling. That's what she is the boss at. That is what is the moneymaker for the CEO, Mercedes Moné. So why is she going to be in the company for 2.5 months before she wrestles a match? Unless she's not fully healthy for some reason, and then we don't know. I don't know. But for everything I know, she's healthy. She's ready to go. People, and look, I'm not saying she's not a great promo, but she's fine. She's fine. She's fine. But what she's excels at is like one of the best in the world at is wrestling. You pay her that money so she wrestles. Why are we waiting so long for her to wrestle? Pisses me off.
If she's not medically cleared, I get that. And I had that discourse today. I posted that today. But you debut her, that's fine. But maybe don't put her on TV every single week to talk, because all it's doing is less and less excitement about it. It's just like, oh, she's here. Which, whatever. I don't like it because it's like, I want to see her wrestle too. I think you saw the same points. I do like the fans today that were like, Well, they did the same thing with Jade. Jade and Mercedes Moné are two totally different.
Not the same.
Not the same. They're keeping Jade off TV because even WWE realizes she's not ready.
That was my favorite. They were like, Jade took months to debut in WWE, but they build up Mercedes and you're gonna hate. I'm like, no.
And
Mercedes Moné.
Mercedes was built upon arrival. You don't need to build.
Yeah,
Mercedes.
You know who she is. I get it. I just Double or Nothing is what 5 weeks away.
It's the end of May.
6 weeks
it's the
away.
End of May. This is
it's
dumb.
The end of May.
But look, I am 100% with JPJ. I'm a little harsher when it comes to my criticisms in regards to her promo work. I've always said it's the one thing she's the least good at. She's good at presenting herself as the projecting wrestling. She's tremendous. I will always say she's the best of the four horsewomen. Despite her being sloppy, but she's one of these good sloppy wrestlers, where it's not perfection, it's not crisp, but it still works. She still makes it work. And that's fine. I don't mean that in a disparaging way. I think it actually works for her. She's able to enhance off of that. But her promo work stinks, and all they're doing is making her talk. And AEW is a promotion where you can get over with your work. Yes. And if we want to talk specifically in the women's division, we have a very good example of that. Two very good examples of that. One of them being Riho back in the day. Riho doesn't speak a word of English. How'd she get over? Just by wrestling, by doing her thing. And Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter, who was brought in to be muscle. The heater for Britt Baker. But the more she wrestled, the more people said, God, she's great. And she never spoke. She'd never get mic time, but she got herself over, became world champion. So, and look at what's happening with Mariah May right now. Mariah May does get some mic time, but doesn't have like outright, promos. And, she does the thing with Toni Storm. But the more Mariah May is wrestling, the more people are going, oh, she's just not a pretty face kind of thing. She can really go. It baffles me that we're waiting to make an event out of Mercedes' first match when everyone just wants to see her wrestle. And the way that they're booking it right now, I don't think it's good for her. And I think at the very least, she needs a tune-up match before Double or Nothing.
Yeah,
I really do.
I'm hoping maybe the attack will make. I'm hoping. I mean,
maybe.
I don't know. I just like.
Let me
come
ask
on,
you,
man.
Let me
that
ask
is
you this.
way too long when that is what. People are excited she's in your company because they want to see her have these matches, not because they want to see her on commentary or doing backstage segments or showing up to say one line and leave. It's just
real quick.
makes
Lawrence,
no sense.
Lawrence, I can't tell if you're being serious.
No,
no. I hope not. I love you.
He's not being
You're wrong, Lawrence.
I respect Lawrence enough to know that he better not be being
respect
serious.
for us, right? We watch this at an annoyingly large clip. We're in the know. We're always watching, reading. But the Willow Nightingale story is a good story. That should have already been paid off right now, in my opinion, right? Like it's not because I don't think it would be good. Wait till Double or Nothing. Like I think it's going to be a great match. I think those two have a story. But to the person that you're like,
it could
have already been paid off, and she should be on her way to like Double or Nothing. It should be Mercedes Moné, and fill in the blank with whoever you think is at the top of the women's division at that point, right? Am I wrong here? Like I'm not.
I have no issues with that. It makes perfect sense because they have a grudge issue that they need to settle. You can do it with or without a title, and in fact, the title becomes a hindrance at that point. Who cares? It's just like, just get it out of the way. Because you know who else is waiting in the meantime for this stuff to pay off? Chris Statlander. Because I still think Chris Statlander and Willow are bound to part ways. I don't think
Willow wins, right? Julia Hart's got a stranglehold on that thing.
Because I think one of the best really low-key stories they've been telling with the women's division or anything in AEW right now is the fact that since Stokely got involved with Willow and which has been brilliant.
Yeah.
Willow's been winning her matches. Chris has not.
Correct.
Right? Because Stokely is like, here, use the chain, use this object. And Chris is like, no. So at some point, Statlander is going to realize that, Willow's doing all of this and, and getting payoffs out of this relationship. She's getting nothing back. And Stokely's going to turn it to the dark side, and Stokely's going to become her exclusive full-time manager. That's a nice little story that we're telling in the meantime. So until this Mercedes stuff gets settled, there's Statlander, doing the same thing week after week as well, sort of twiddling her thumbs. And people love Chris Statlander too. She does stuff in the ring and people get excited. They pop for her. So there's someone else you could be doing something with, They're weaving all sorts of stories, but it's all hinging around her being Mercedes getting to the TBS title in May. That's a little weird. That's a little weird to me.
And it almost feels like the TBS title is secondary to facing Mercedes Moné. If that, look at the TBS title is the secondary.
Look at what happened with Cody and The Rock and Roman. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we're gonna get there.
What do you mean? What happened? Something happened. What are you talking about? What?
Anyway, dang it! Oh, I forgot. I wanted to open the show talking about the eclipse.
Yeah, we were supposed to talk solar
eclipse. The PLUGGO has an eclipse story.
I went and saw it.
The eclipse. We came in hot talking about CM Punk right away.
We had this whole angle we were going to run where it's like, Warren's here. It's a slow week. There's nothing to talk about. What do you think about the solar eclipse?
I'm just following. It's on the run sheet, but I'm just following
restart the show.
Yeah, we got to redo the intro. Start it all over. So, slow week.
I only fly with my best friends.
Hello,
Were you in the path of totality? Were you in the path of totality this time around?
No, we were not, but we were very close, and it ruled nonetheless. Like I got the glasses gimmick and everything. I went, and we stood outside looking at, like dogs staring up at the rain or whatever.
Unbelievable, unbelievable, isn't it?
But it's phenomenal. Like it's awe-inspiring. Seeing this, the sun being covered and how the sky changed color too. Like it's not the same thing not the same thing as dusk, right? Like when the sun goes down, it's not the same. It was a whole different tint in the sky as well, and the trees in the yard were a peculiar shade of green. I understand how primitive people just lost their complete shit when that's kind of stuff
first time that ever went down. They're like, "What?
God damn!" I understand.
Imagine if it, the first time ever, and they would just like, "This is the end of the world." That's how they had to be thinking. Like, this is it. We're all dead. We're all gonna die right now.
There you go.
That's what that's what it looks like. Like for the most part, I knew it was happened around 2:30 somewhere in the afternoon, around
3:10, bro.
For you, yeah, I'm on the east, so I think it was
I'm on the east.
It was something in the whatever, but like I knew it was happening.
Time zones.
I went out, and then, but it was the color. It was like if the world was ending, that's how I would assume it would look outside. I'd go outside and like, oh, this
world's end.
This doesn't look good. But PLUGGO's kids, now in my area, the kids still went to school on Monday. The kids still went to school. PLUGGO's kids didn't have school.
Did not
they
have
the
day off for it. They had
the day off. And PLUGGO said that he woke up at 5 a.m. because they were on an excursion.
No, so Sunday, it's the 8th was my wedding anniversary. It's also my mother-in-law's birthday, but that was the only day the venue was available that we wanted to get married in. So her mother was gracious enough to, but either way. So Sunday night we go, so she watched the boys for us, the little ones this weekend, my mother-in-law, so that we could do our anniversary thing on the weekend. And then we went and picked them up Sunday afternoon from the mother-in-law's, and she goes, "Hey," because I was under the impression that they were just going to go to lunch and do some shopping, whatever, for her birthday. And she goes, "Hey, we should go see the eclipse." And I was like, "What?" Like, I know that there's an eclipse, but we can just see it from the yard. Like, why do I have to go somewhere? Like, why do I have to drive anywhere to see this? I can just go outside, slap the glass on, we have a good old time. She's like, no. You don't understand path to totality. So Indianapolis is 2.5, 3 hours away from me, depending on how deep you get into Indy. And she's like, it's in full totality. And I was like, okay. Again, I'm like, all right. She's like, we should go. It's at the International Motor Speedway. And so we were like, okay, if that's what you want to do, what time do I need to be where I need to be? She's like, I'll be at your house at 6 a.m. She's like, yep. I'm like, okay. So it's WrestleMania night 2. That's not over till, we're not going to bed till midnight at that point. So we get up, we drive on down. It was actually pretty cool. They had a big event. They had a big spread. They had like vendor stuff for kids. I mean, the place was packed. Just nuts. There was boneheads trying to skip the line. We're sitting there. We're in this mix. We're sitting in the grandstands. And apparently, I don't know how racetracks work either, because you could only see one strip from where I was sitting. I didn't realize that you can't see the whole 2.5 mile track from where I was sitting. So it's an experience. But it happened in totality. It looked like the sun burnt out. You took the glasses off. It was in full totality for about 3.5, 4 minutes. Like, that was pretty cool.
Crazy.
Very eerie, dark. It was not like super pitch black dark, because you could still see it was so good. You could see all the pink, or what do they call that? The Corona, or the
Corona, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, like it was actually super dope. Like, I actually was like, wow, that was really cool. Like, I'm actually glad that we drove down to see that, because it won't happen again for another 50 years. But then, like, we got stuck in the parking lot because everybody left, and we're trying to figure. So I didn't get home till super late, but it was worth it. It was a good way to spend my anniversary with my wife and my kids and her mother.
Yeah, the next clip story.
But yeah, like, I actually went. Like, I can't believe I never thought I would be the guy that's like, yeah, let's go drive down for the eclipse. I'm thinking to myself, like, isn't that just, I could just look up?
I think I applaud your bravery.
Yeah.
Because there was no way I was going into a public crowd on an eclipse with all these weirdos out there.
Right? No, I had that thought too, because they're also playing at the Speedway. They're making it a spectacle. So they're playing like this eerie fucking music.
Jesus Christ.
Like space music, and then like everybody's just staring up, and all of a sudden it's dark, and everybody's like, whoa.
If there are other people out there, when
there were some weirdos, man.
They must look down. They must look down and go, look at these.
I bet there were.
All just staring at the sun. All of us like, oh.
They had entrances, and you had to get in line, and one dude was like, he almost got into a fight with some lady because he cut like a 1/2 mile long line. And then we had these two dudes that were fighting. Like, people were just, it drove people to, because you're staring at the sun all day. And it was actually pretty nice. So you're getting a lot of sun. You're tired. You're annoyed. There's just people everywhere. I was like, this could pop off at any moment.
No, like someone decides that, he's summoning the great old ones or something, and then pulls a knife, and then it all goes downhill. I applaud everyone who decided to go into a group setting to watch this.
Yeah, Mrs. Pluggo, why did you make me do that?
I think it's a good idea, but look, this is something that not a lot of couples will have to do. Got the chance to do on their anniversary, man.
That's what I
think. What they said the next time for us in the States, it's 20 years from now or something. Like that.
I saw the because I got all sorts of. I got schooled during this whole thing. There was.
You learned
NASA
some stuff?
I did. There was NASA. They had like a program. I got to tell you though. So what they did. This is my favorite part. Was like they treated it like this was their WrestleMania, right? So they had like a NASA updates, and of course, time zones. So like the West Coast got theirs, and then the Central. And I gotta tell you, these people because they would show us the Dallas one before it got to India, and these people were just like, "Oh my God, it's in totality! This is unbelievable!" And I am just sitting there laughing my ass off because I'm like, "What is this?" These people are just like, "Oh my God, Gary, did you see that? It's almost at full totality. What a spectacle!" And I'm like, it's just
nerd alert. Yeah, that's what I would have been. That's what I would have been. Nerd alert.
Because and the worst part is every time they did that on the screen, you look up at our son going, "Oh, is it time? Is it time?"
Yeah,
it was a wild. It was a wild scene.
Awesome.
The space community runs deep.
Oh yeah.
For those that don't know.
Oh yeah. I can imagine.
in full totality. My God, Gary, my eyes have never seen something so beautiful. And I'm like, all right, calm down. Somebody's
I would have been hysterically laughing.
Somebody's got
to.
Somebody's got to.
But then there's people that look at us and they see me react the same exact way when Cody Rhodes wins the belt on Sunday night, and they're like, "Look at this loser! Look at this nerd alert over here! I'm crying as Cody's winning a world title."
Right?
So who am I to judge?
That's what I'm saying. Like, don't get me wrong.
I'm speaking in truth. Who am I?
And then, of course, Mrs. Pluggo's like, "You're a nerd that sits in your basement and talks about wrestling," and I'm like, "Shut up! It's our anniversary.
4 hours a week. Like, you're gonna judge that guy?
I hate it. Yeah,
like, this happens once every 30 years, man. Come on." But anyway,
that's why we really brought Warren here, because he's a lapsed WWE fan. For those that don't know, he watches when he feels like it, not when they tell him to.
I'm a contrarian.
By all accounts, WrestleMania was a smashing success. What did you think about?
I really liked I liked night 2.
Yeah,
I really thought night 2 was
better than night 1.
No, night 1 was the pits. It was just it was in shambles.
It's because everybody was waiting. I think it was hard. I didn't hate night 1, but I think that we all just were like, this isn't what we're here for. We're here for night 2. Give it to us now.
Well, then don't do a night 1.
That's what I said, but everybody's like, this is perfect. 2 nights. Makes sense, Pluggo.
So
you're an idiot.
Right? Since they've gone to 2, and Pluggo likes the 1 night.
I like the 1 night.
I still lean the 2 night. But I would be cool either way. I'm cool either way.
I see. I'm with you. Like, in principle, I'm with you, JPJ, because I like the idea. I don't miss the 8-hour WrestleManias. You know what I mean? Correct. I don't miss those. So breaking it up because they feel like they have to put everyone on the card, or maximize. When I say everyone, not everyone. I got in trouble this week because I said everyone on a thing and people misconstrued what I was saying. So not everyone. A lot
took
of people
something you said and ran with it.
No
way.
Yeah, I know.
Have you not been on the internet in a while?
Well, I have been ill. Yes.
Things have changed. Things have changed.
Things have changed since January, bro.
It's a whole new era.
But so splitting up, I like it, but here's the challenge that I don't think there's been like a 2-night WrestleMania where you go, this ruled, both nights ruled.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I say last year, night 1 was a success, and everyone was like, tremendous. "Oh my God, this is going to be one of the best WrestleManias ever." And then night 2 was a dud. And it felt like this year, even though the Sami Zayn Gunther match and moment was one of my favorite things in totality on the weekend.
Totality.
Good. Hey, see?
Hey.
But
Science.
It felt like night 1 was kind of meh or okay, and night 2 was good. It was a good night. So they haven't really had, like you just said, they haven't had a WrestleMania in the 3 years that they've done this so far where both nights have been like, holy crap, that was a 2-night just
extravaganza. And and you know what? Look, and I don't know of a wrestling company that's done it yet. Look, a couple of years ago, New Japan was doing that with Wrestle Kingdom, right?
Yeah.
And I can't even tell you, it's not Warren hates WWE thing. No, I like not even my favorite promotion on planet Earth, which is New Japan Pro Wrestling. At least it's being challenged by CMLL these days. But not even New Japan put on a great 2-night Wrestle Kingdom. Yeah. So it's like, it's hard. I think ultimately this is my basic feeling, and I think it's a very old school way of seeing things. So you can all tell me to go to hell, but
go to hell, Warren.
He says in his Ole Anderson voice, "Go to hell, Warren.
Go to hell,
Warren." Either you manage, either you put as many people as you like onto your WrestleMania and you keep doing 2 nights, but you make sure that your 2 nights are killer. Or if you can't guarantee that both nights are killer, slim it down and only put the people who deserve to be there, like your tippy top stars. I'm gonna tell you.
Wait, we haven't done this in a while. Say that one more time.
Only put your tippy top stars.
What? What, Warren?
Is the throwing of the
Shocked
camera?
and chagrined. What?
Like, God bless Andrade and Rey Mysterio, but why was Andrade on the show? There's not what he just came back in January. What are we doing? Like, it doesn't matter. I understand the LWO feud that they've been doing has been very important and whatnot. Okay, that's fine. They shoehorned LA Knight and AJ Styles into a feud to be on the show. Match that I really liked. Don't get me wrong, but still, nonetheless, like, why isn't WrestleMania? Why has WrestleMania become? And I'm saying WrestleMania, but it's the same thing with Wrestle Kingdom at the same time. Why has it become, let's put everyone as much as possible on the show, whereas years ago it was like, you have to earn your spot, brother. Yeah. You have to get yourself over. You have to be a star to be on the biggest show on earth, And that's why this shit drags sometimes.
I think, Lawrence is saying they should also put a match on the kickoff show. I agree. It's a 2-hour kickoff show. You could put a couple matches on the kickoff show if you want to fit people into the show more. But like you said, so let's say we just go through the card. We take out that Rey Mysterio tag match. We take out LA Knight and AJ Styles. Then you're talking, okay, WrestleMania is a one night, 11 matches.
That's still too many.
Well, in my opinion,
you wouldn't have been able to do the tag match then to Cody on this particular one.
Take Karrion Kross and his goofs off. Like, what are we doing here? And God bless the trio of Jade and Naomi and Bianca together. But again, they were in a nothing they're in a nothing trios match. There we go. That's the word I'm trying to say. They're in a nothing trios match. Why is it on the card? Like, again, if you're putting on your stars, your top people, and everything is meaningful, you won't be asking, why am I watching this? Why is this happening? Kind of thing. It's there's a couple of ways you can go with this. I have no issue if no skin off my my firm French Canadian buttocks if not everyone makes it to the card. I think it makes for a better viewing experience as a fan, as someone who consumes pro wrestling, because now you're guaranteed you're only getting the cream of the crop.
Yeah. And also,
I like this by Spencer. Yes, that's true. But I think we had all argued that he should have been.
I thought he should have been involved in the U.S. title match. I should have thought they made a fatal 4-way. You could have threw him in there. I think that would have been more than fine.
Yeah.
Because I do think LA Knight was one of those people that earned a WrestleMania match with how over he got this past year and things like that. So you could have, you could have just put him in something else that was more meaningful than having to, like Warren said, shoehorn a match in there, even though AJ Styles is great too. But for me, I mean, if we're speaking in truths, that's the second time I said that. I don't know why.
Do you know?
I must have seen it and heard it in a show.
Tell me what I'm telling.
I have no idea. I thought, and Warren, you said this at the beginning of your review thing that you did, but I thought the best match of the weekend that WWE put on was that triple threat for the North American title between Obafemi, Dijak, and Josh Briggs. I thought that was the best match that they had all weekend. I thought that match ruled. I'm a big Dijak mark. So
we're back. Yeah. Black and Gold, NXT Black and Gold is back, baby, having better matches than main roster. Let's go.
I thought that match was terrific. All three of those guys did very well in that match. I expected it from Dijak. I would like to see Dijak on the main roster,
Mr. PLE, baby,
like tomorrow night on SmackDown or something. I want
to
Raw.
Dijak's role in NXT is really interesting because now he's kind of like the secure vet.
That Johnny Gargano.
That will carry everyone. That will make sure that everyone is directed into a great match. Because he has been. His pay-per-view matches have been scoring. Everyone. NXT is a weekly show that I cannot stomach, but I watch the pay-per-views because that's what I do, because I think it's at the very least that's what I should be covering. And most of the time, if he's not the best match of the night, he's really up there. You know, it's and the Obafemi match was tremendous. He was tremendous, absolutely tremendous.
Yeah, it was really good. But all right, so we had so I know
He says,
we got to dive in and talk about Mania.
Well,
So,
you tell me how you guys want to do this.
Okay.
You understand?
Well, yeah. So for me, I've been on here yelling for a year, Warren, that they should have gave Cody the belt last year.
Sure.
Still think they should have gave him the belt this year.
I
last
agree.
Year.
High five.
Yes, but I am happy that they did it this time. The main event, I guess we'll just jump around. We'll just talk about whatever. But like the main event on night 2 was not a great match. There was not a great match, but as a sports entertainment spectacle, I enjoyed the hell out of it. I would have preferred if Stone Cold had the Taker spot, because that would have made just way more sense to have Stone Cold and The Rock staring at each other one last time in a WrestleMania ring. And that moment, and me being 38, I would have probably actually cried, and I would have been losing my mind if it was Stone Cold and The Rock staring at each other one more time. But I even didn't dislike it didn't make sense to me, but I didn't dislike the Undertaker. Whatever. I was all in it. That's the ridiculous, chaotic side of wrestling that I felt like I fell in love with. It was, I would say it was just like an overbooked piece of art or an overbooked fun, just great time. I had no problem with it. My boy Cody won.
What was that, Warren?
I had no problem with the main event. Yeah, I had no problem with the main event. I'm so happy Cody's the champion, because to me, and I think to a lot of people, Cody represents like, oh, this is actually, I think, a new time now in WWE. This is a new, people use the word era.
Wait, there's a new era in WWE? This is the first time I hear talk about it.
Well,
I haven't heard anyone mention it. I haven't heard any declarations. Very weird.
Yeah.
JPJ,
like
what are you doing? What are you talking about? I never heard that before.
I know. It's crazy, isn't it? I think everybody is really, a lot of people are jazzed up about this WrestleMania. A lot of people are saying it was the best, biggest that was the tagline, the biggest WrestleMania of all time. And I think a lot of people are saying it was.
It's every year.
But for me, it was a good WrestleMania. I had a good time. I enjoyed both nights, but night 2 was way better.
Technically speaking, Warren, it is the biggest WrestleMania because the number gets bigger every year.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But we're still going to argue. Oh no, but anyway, I don't want to talk about the Silver Dome. I
think a lot more people, or at least for me, I enjoyed WrestleMania because of more what it represented than it actually was as a show. And I think that, it was an enjoyable show. I had a great time. I enjoyed both night 2. I enjoyed more in totality.
Spencer was there. We should have had him.
I know.
The vibe was like in the building.
I enjoyed WrestleMania as a whole, but I think I'm more excited about like to see where things go from here. I think I like what it represented more than the actual show.
I liked it. I liked the show, Warren, but I want to know what you thought, because I enjoyed both nights pretty much from start to finish for the most part.
Yeah, my issue is night 1 stunk, and I thought the main event was dismal. I think it's one of the worst things they've done all year. And in that spot, in a main event spot, I think it was absolutely dismal. But thankfully, night 2 picked it up. And for me, on paper, I thought night 2 was the weaker night of the 2. I thought night 2 was the one that had the potential to be the worst night of the 2. But they completely flipped that around. And I don't know if it's because, Triple H sat everyone down before the show and was like, okay, guys, we got to pick this up. Because no one in the right mind backstage saw night 1 and were high-fiving each other. No, they all sat down and was like, okay, we have to course correct for tomorrow, right? And because I thought everyone worked, on most matches, everyone worked their asses off. Like just some really good matches, but nothing. And here's my major takeaway of it all: nothing great, nothing that I would say like is a great match. Which is weird, because as much as I'm very ambivalent and 50-50 a lot of the time, in regards to recent WrestleManias, there's always something. There's always something where you go, last year you had Rhea versus Charlotte. Yeah, which is a legitimate match of the year contender. You had the undisputed tag title match. You had Cody and Roman last year, which was really good. And I'm forgetting one. I know there's another match that happened last year.
The triple threat. The triple
threat.
Yeah.
And that fucking ruled. These are so even if you get a match where you go, okay, this is kind of boring. They come back and they swatch you in the face with something tremendous. I loved Sammy and Gunther. I loved EO versus Bailey, but good. Neither of them were great. You know what I mean? So I feel like we're wrapping up a WrestleMania with a string of really good matches, lots of good stuff, and a boatload of spectacle per usual. Like that's to be expected, but nothing that sticks. So I find it really weird, really strange, but also not strange because I understand how what WWE fans like, and it's not what I like. But I find it weird that they're calling this the greatest WrestleMania of all time when ultimately, you hate to beat a dead horse, but X7 is still the greatest WrestleMania of all time. It really, really is.
And I bet you still like telling kids to get off your lawn, Warren. Jeez, man.
Yeah, man, get out of my apple tree.
Before I got some thoughts on the nights, but we got throwback with the super chat.
And finally gave Braun his NXT related. He said they gave Braun his flowers. I heard from Uli is like NXT, like Cameron Grimes. It's great that NXT is being awesome. The new title is great. There you go. Yeah, Braun, I heard rumor that they're thinking about bringing Braun and Corbin up as a team on the main roster, which I think would be good. I think they're fine. That tag match was also very good on NXT.
Oh yeah, on NXT
that was also a good one.
Frazier and Nate Kid are great.
Yes,
Axiom.
Yeah.
They're very blurry. Do you guys think?
PLUGGO, yeah, you go. I was gonna say, what did you?
Night one wasn't better.
I thought night two was way better.
Do you think that maybe it had anything to do with the way it was pretty chilly?
Oh, come on,
Philly.
No. Oh, come on.
I'm just asking the question. That's all they talked about night one. They made sure to tell us it was 40 degrees.
They talked about it so much, I swear I was hanging out with my old uncles. Jesus Christ.
I just want to ask. I had to ask.
Do you know how many thousands of wattage of lights are on that ring? Do you know how warm it is on that ring, fellas? Seriously, let's be real here. I'm just saying. It was chilly for the people in the audience because they were sitting around and they weren't moving. They were just in their seats going, brr, And besides, these people, Philadelphians, they dress up. It's fine. I had a friend. I have a friend from Philadelphia who was there, and on night one. And I was texting him and said, "Is it really cold?" He said, "Oh, it's chilly, but you put on a jacket." Kind of thing. It's like,
they're football fans in Philadelphia in the winter. They know how to dress for occasions. They know how to.
I don't buy it for a second that the cold had anything to do with it. Don't buy it for a second.
Yeah. So PLUGGO, dive in. How did you feel about WrestleMania? What stood out to you as?
I don't think this is okay. So the new era, Triple H comes out. He welcomes us all in. It's expected. It's the first WrestleMania without Vince. I felt like I really enjoyed both nights. I had a good time watching both nights. Night two was far and away better, but it didn't feel like anything over the top or WrestleMania momenty outside of Cody winning was like, it was very like fan serving. It was like, all right, we're going to finish all the stories that you want us to finish.
That was the one thing. It was like, oh, it's very weird to give the fans what they want. So
it's like you gave right. But hear me out.
It was almost like, wait a minute, am I getting punked right now? Are they doing everything they should right now? What is going on?
But I think in great storytelling, you have to have some swerves too. Now, granted, they weren't going to do the
Damian Priest. We can talk about that. Was
the Damian Priest thing was cool. Night one for me was like Rhea and Becky could have been better, but I think again they said Becky wasn't 100%. She still went out there. Crazy to me that she went out there. They said 102 temp that day, and she had a strep throat. But I thought Rhea's entrance was cool.
Yeah.
But the main event, I think they could have done a little bit more with it. I thought it was super strange that you didn't have anybody, no Solo involvement. He wasn't in night one. No Jimmy. I know Jimmy and Jay had their match, but even that felt like it could have been more. But I enjoyed the slowed down pace that they went with it. But I still thought you could have intervened some stuff into that night.
A lot of people. I mean, you were going into that expecting that was going to be your match of the Mania.
I definitely thought I love a good brother versus brother family feud thing, and I didn't get everything that I had hoped, but I still didn't hate it. I don't know. I just thought night one felt very like we know what we're gonna do night two. We know that that's gonna be the crowning moment. So like it doesn't have to be over the top because you already knew going in that you don't tease bloodline rules if you're not gonna do bloodline rules.
But then people are paying thousands of dollars to come see your show. Why would you go? Why would you say? Well, let's pull it back on night one, guys.
I don't disagree with you there either.
Which adds credence to what we were talking about earlier about why do 2 nights then? But anyway,
I like the spectacle of the one night WrestleMania. I love it.
That's fair. I mean, yeah. Well, you know what? That wasn't in response to you being weird. I like you as you are. But like. Lawrence is saying Jimmy versus Jay should have been no DQ. I felt like there should have been more heat to it, more passion to it. Yeah, it was very. I liked the slowed down pace because I actually enjoyed that. I thought, okay, slowed down, a little bit of a grudge here. You're not going to just do a bunch of crazy spots. So I liked that aspect, but it did kind of feel like there should have been. Like, where was Solo in all this? Like, he's a brother too. He's had a stake in this. Why don't you have him out there? You don't have, maybe not to get involved because maybe he's like, I don't know, you know what I mean? But like, if the idea for the bloodline is to eliminate all of Cody's help to make it bloodline rules, why didn't you destroy Jay Uso that night? Like, why didn't you have some stuff going on? But hey, I digress. It is what it is. He came out rib taped up and everything. Night 2. Yeah. Why didn't you finish him off? I don't know. I just thought it could have been a little bit more story to that because I felt like the bloodline story is what they were banking on. But there's a lot you can tell there with those two. Yeah. I felt like the thing that is the most memorable to me about night 1 is the Sammy stuff. I went into Mania feeling pretty confident that Gunther was retaining. Like if I had to do one of those things where like you have to put a number for how confident you are with your picks, like that would have been near one of my more confident picks would have been Gunther retaining. But especially the way they shot the Sammy stuff before the match and that camera angle and everything they did there where he's with his wife and his kid and then Gable comes up to him and he's giving him the last little pep talk. And then for me, obviously the Kevin Owens moment is awesome at the end, but like when they followed him walking down and he's psyching himself up and he's like, you could tell he's getting in his head and he's kicking stuff. And that really made me be like, yeah, go get him, Sammy. Like I was really like behind him at that moment. And then he takes the corner to Owens and Owens gives him the hug and he says, go do it, and it was like at that moment, I really, really wanted Sami Zayn to win that match. I was like, I want Sami Zayn to win this match. They got me with that. Like they bought me in and I still didn't think he was going to do it, but then he did it. And I just thought it was a really great moment. I thought it was the only really great moment of night 1.
Warren, were you just typing up like a DM to Spencer saying, please never have these two have me on the show again?
Oh no,
they like
my
night
agent.
They liked night 1 too much. I can't do this anymore.
No, I'm typing to my agent. Spencer talks to my agent now.
Oh, you don't even talk to Spencer? Ooh.
Oh no.
Oh shoot.
Lawrence saying that Sammy's wife was the MVP of that match. She was excellent at ringside. Gunther, I mean, what can you say? Gunther is just, he's so good. The great, I'm an old school guy. Warren, you're also an old school guy. Where is he the greatest intercontinental champion of all time? Where do you rank
Oh, geez. I mean, he
has the title for the most time. So
he's had a tremendous run with some legitimately great matches. I'd put him up there with Randy, Randy Savage.
I think those would be up there. Yeah.
I think he's in, it's not just he's had great opponents, out of which have come great matches. They don't all hit, which is normal, but out of recent memory, like who in recent memory otherwise, like who is, I don't think anyone comes up
Ricochet.
Close, really. Sorry. Does Ricochet go to bed at night sort of angry that his girlfriend is more over than he is?
She rules.
Yeah, she was good.
If we want to talk about that, by the way, just the aspect of that real quick, like I really enjoyed McAfee and Cole on commentary. They were really into it. Samantha Irvin with her awesome calls and the way she announced it. I enjoyed the 8K camera when it was the champions, kind of a different vibe, a different look.
I did like that.
I really enjoyed the presentation aspect of it. I could have done without Lil Wayne.
What? What's the problem? What?
Dude, that was bad. That was bad. I like Lil Wayne and all his cool.
Was good. I thought Snoop Dogg was good when used. He's a natural.
Snoop Dogg was just sitting there. You're like watching it with one of your stone cousins. Like,
I love it.
Damn,
that dude's dead.
Was enjoying himself.
Did you guys like this was the first real like ad heavy pay-per-view that or PLE or whatever you want to call it. Like they've teased it and they've messed around with it, but everything they sold the steady cam.
Yeah, I think it's too much.
Too much.
Yeah.
I think that's where they're going now. There was
that's where they're going.
Yeah,
we better get used to it.
And that was mentioned a whole ton, but Triple H specifically was like, we're moving up a level when it comes to what we do here. And I think that's in all aspects. I think that is in, you're going to start seeing things on the ring, things on the turnbuckle like that. They are going to be that type of, there's going to be ads and sponsorship matches. And
you want to buy Kevin Owens knee pad?
That's the norm now. I think that's what we're seeing here.
Look, this coming from a guy who watched Japanese wrestling where they have advertisements all over the ring they've been doing this for years and years and years and the turnbuckles and whatnot. I still think it's too much because it's one thing. I think it's one thing to put things in the ring, but then you have, the ring skirt, or the apron. It's not a skirt, Warren, Jesus Christ, the screen, facing hard cam. And then on the other side, up on the barricades, and then the ring posts are also animated and do shit. And then you have something in the upper hand corner. And I'm like, oh my God. It's like,
pick one. How about we pick one?
Exactly. It's like, but clearly, I'll agree. This new era that they're kicking off, which is clearly to make sure that we all understand that Vince McMahon is no longer involved, right?
I wanted to lean into that, Warren. You
can't just say hi.
We can't just say
yes, okay. Yeah, and it has been a while. So Kristen Ashley, the first lady of the Mr. Warren Hayes show. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Dude wipes that sponsored the women's world championship match. I was like, what the fuck is this? And then I do a little research because I'm like, what the fuck is a dude wipe? This sounds like something that happens in a porno. So I do a little research. Turns out it is something that you can do in a porno, but it's also a product that it's baby wipes down there, right? You keep yourself.
It's baby wipes that don't smell like babies. Essentially. Yeah. So like, what are we? Yeah. What's the even thing? I don't understand.
It was pretty funny. I did see one meme on the internet like that had the dude wipe sponsored during the Usos match, and it said, "This just in, our first rating of the WrestleMania." And they cut out the E and it just said "dud wipe." And I was like, oh no, you're killing the Usos already. It's 30 seconds after the match.
Well, frankly, it's.
I wanted. Obviously, I do want to talk at length about the main event because
Yes, we've been all over the place. Good
just
job,
jumping
JPJ.
But like the Vince stuff, I want to lean into though, because like the whole time this build, hey, this is the biggest WrestleMania of all time. Oh, this is the biggest tag match in the history of WrestleMania. Okay, well, you know what the last biggest tag match in the history of WrestleMania was? WrestleMania 1, Mr. T and Hogan versus. So it's the biggest tag match of all time, the biggest WrestleMania of all time. This is of all time. Longest world title reign in the modern era. Longest international title, longest intercontinental champions of all time. Longest tag team champions of all time with the Usos. This is all part of the plan where over the next couple years, Vince McMahon is going to be somebody that new fans aren't even going to know.
They'll never know.
That's what they're doing here. And don't get me wrong, some of it is overdue. You need to refresh some shit. They've had the same people for 40 years as like these landmark records and all. You got to refresh some shit. Get some new people on there. You have to do it. But there has been an overabundance of that these last, ever since certain things have come up and a little bit before that. But and that's the vibe that I got from this WrestleMania. Was biggest WrestleMania of all time. This is going to be the landmark one that 10 or 15 years from now, when new fans are getting into wrestling, we're going to go WrestleMania 40 was the last big. That's where we are now. Is because of WrestleMania 40, and that's what's happening here, right?
I had a really good time. I thought it was a fun show,
and I had a good time too. But it definitely felt that way, and I think it culminated with Cody Rhodes, a year too late, but fine. Cody Rhodes cementing himself as like he is the next guy. And at the end of WrestleMania 2, when him and Triple H are touching noses in a picture that a lot of us, who would have thought we'd ever see that type of, and it's those two guys, Cody, who broke the throne 4.5 years ago, smashed the throne. He's nose to nose. He could have kissed him on the lips if he wanted to. With Triple H, and Triple H, the guy who runs shit now, is like, you're my guy. You are my guy. You are this guy. For this, you are our next John Cena. You are our next, and that's where we're at. And I think Cody is that guy. I thought he should have been that guy immediately upon arrival, which would have been last year doing that. But somehow they did it. And then we're good. We're all in the space we should have been in my opinion. And I think that's where the excitement for me comes from, where I'm just like, okay, I'm ready to see what a Cody Rhodes-led WWE looks like. And I think that's why I'm coming out of the weekend still very, very excited.
That's a very good observation because, they started sharing.
Need some dude wipes after that.
Exactly.
Yeah, they started dude wipes.
They shared their dude wipes. That's a very good observation, JPJ, because the way I perceived it after it was all done, bringing out Taker, bringing out Cena, you're establishing like these are people from the past now. Mm-hmm. These are not your contemporaries. These are people from the past. And this is where we're kicking off the Paul Levesque era. And by the way, just to make sure that it's clear that Vince is gone, we're not giving it a cutesy name. It's not the Renaissance era. It's not the Attitude Era V2 or whatever the fuck. It's the Paul Levesque era. If you ever wanted to make sure that people understood that Vince has nothing to do with this, there it is right there. It's like, no, we're completely breaking off. And what do? They dethrone the guy that Vince has been wanting us to cheer for to be the top guy since 2014. Mm-hmm. That's who they dethrone. So ultimately, yes, this is all a thing where we're snapping things off. Now, you're very enthusiastic. I'm very cautious because as it stands, I am not super impressed with Paul Levesque as a booker. I know he was, voted in Booker of the Year over at the Observer Awards. I understand all of that. But I found that pay-per-views under the Paul Levesque era have been very mid to even dull. Royal Rumble this year, that wasn't a great show. And Elimination Chamber. Ugh. I think his pay-per-views have been misses more than hits. I don't think he's shown me that he can book a pay-per-view. And when we started night one, when night one was over, I was like, okay, is this his trademark? Is this going to be Paul Levesque's trademark? I'm in charge of everything. Vince is gone, but my pay-per-views kind of stink. Like that's really what I was thinking about. Thankfully, night two is giving me a glimmer of hope. But Paul is going to have to implement some real changes. He's going to have to do some real things to reestablish some kind of confidence. And it's going to go out beyond, we can say wrestling now and not just sports entertainment. Like that shit's all window dressing. Show me real differences in the booking and how you approach things and how you put raw. Bring me back to your product, Paul, is what I'm saying. I don't want to necessarily hate I don't hate it. I just really dislike it. But I'd be okay if WWE was really, really good and catered to me. And I was like, okay, here I am. I'm back again. As it stands, it's not for me these days. It's just as simple as that. So I don't know. I'm a little more cautious. I'm not, I know a lot of people are flying in with this, this great sentiment that this was the greatest WrestleMania of all time and people are really hyped. But here's another thing. It happens every post WrestleMania. People get really excited about the year to come because good things happen and then things sort of fall back to normal. I'm excited to see what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks. Rock is not going to be around. Dwayne is gone. Roman's taking some time off. Like all of these
Becky, I think, are gone as well.
Can we talk about that awkward? But we'll talk about that awkward.
Oh yeah, no, I do want to talk about that. That's
a great point though, Warren. Because I was sitting there thinking about that today. I was like, it was like crazy to think that Fox pulled out and not renewing too soon, and then I was like, oh wait, it's WrestleMania season. Of course, everything's crushing. Is it gonna take a couple steps back here in the next few weeks, or are they gonna figure out a way to put the foot on the gas still?
And it's going to be really interesting to see how they put the foot on the gas without Dwayne, without Roman, without their heavy hitters that they've been counting on for the past X number of years. Now it really is Cody's show. It really is Cody's show right now. So how is he? Let's see how business goes. This is going to be the ultimate test for him. And that being said, I am super. And I talked about it on my own review. If you ever want to go check that out on youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes. But Cody, to me, like even above finishing the story, winning a belt that his father really never cared about, really legitimately didn't really care about. But it makes for a good story, whatever. I think the story of Cody Rhodes is much more interesting than that. This is a guy that, 10, 12 years ago, the company tossed aside. It was like, or he felt, he was being mid-carded. Cody was like, I'm better than this. I'm better than a mid-card. I'm better than wearing makeup. I'm better than doing goofy, I'm handsome gimmicks. I'm better than this. So gone from the company, hits the indies, goes to work with Ring of Honor, starts building himself there, works in New Japan, and builds his reputation, contacts, networks. Next thing you know, he's putting on still to this day, the biggest drawing independent wrestling show in North America. He does that with his buddies. Then 18 months after that, 2 years after that, launches a brand new national promotion. Gets in with billionaire money, but with his buddies, does that, leaves that company to come back to WWE as an undeniable superstar. And that's always what he said. What was his line that he talked about?
Desirable to undeniable.
I mean, there's the full circle right here. Like,
yeah,
the story of Cody Rhodes doing this is tremendous. And for me, it's a much more compelling story than I'm doing this for Dusty. It's tangible. It's inspirational. It's something that makes perfect sense. And a guy who absolutely 100% went, pardon the pun, all in on himself.
Yeah, he bet on
to
himself.
Get to being the top guy in the biggest wrestling company on earth, and at the time where their business is crazy hot. That is a tangible, real deal amazing story that you can't take away from Cody Rhodes. No matter what you want to, how you want to spin this, however you want to talk about him, it is a tremendous accomplishment.
Yeah, big time. Big time. I think of any, it's just a terrific story. It's a guy who truly bet on himself, knew his worth, and said, I'm going to go prove it to everybody.
I don't think
everybody.
I don't think they want to tell that story too.
No, they don't want to tell that story because they
don't want people
leaving.
Yeah, they don't want people going bye
because they don't want people to realize, oh, this guy had to leave the company to become a star.
Correct. He had to leave to go prove to the guy in charge that he's a big enough star, who then said, okay, you can come back and be the exact same person you were elsewhere. And you can come back.
Exactly.
It will make you the biggest star in the company.
I'm super
interested before I left, guy. But
I'm super interested in this Cody Rhodes run in the sense that there was a lot of weight in him finishing the story. There was a lot there, and rightfully so. Now that you've finished it, what's your sequel to your story? That's where you got to figure out where this juice is. I'm super interested to see what they do because they can't lean on that anymore.
Can I make a suggestion? Tomorrow night on SmackDown, I want Randy Orton to RKO this.
I thought he was gonna during the celebration night too, because if you look at the stills, Randy is like, first of all,
that's all I want. That's all I want.
Standing there looking at him, and I was like, he's eyeing this RKO.
Perfect, good little feud. They got a history there. Cool. Just have him in the ring, like, hey, congrats. Just drops him. That's it. That's all I want. And I'm a Cody guy, but that's fine. That would be a next.
I can understand, and I hope, Warren, I hope you come back to us in the WWE as WWE fans. There's a lot to be excited about. There's a lot of, we're ushering out some of the old tropes and the old ways and the old regime, and we're going to this new era. There's this Netflix deal. They've seemed to be a little bit more looser with the product and letting people kind of be themselves. They're leaning on your strengths. There's a lot to be excited about. I can understand why it might take some time to come back, and you're cautious, and I get that, but I really am looking forward to the product. I will say we had Claudio say that the post Raw was mid, but we had Affiliate saying it was the best post Raw in years.
I watched it, and I think
I will say
I agree. I agree with the second. I agree with both. I think it wasn't. Didn't blow my mind, but it was the better post Raw after Mania than the
last couple
past
years.
3, 4, 5 years.
Awkward. After that,
I do want to talk about that first segment. Obviously, there were things on Mania, like you Warren said, Bayley and Io. I thought that was a fantastic match. Very happy for Bayley.
Bayley rules.
Yep, I'm very happy for Bayley.
Io was fantastic though, by the way. When she did that handstand out of the rose plant, I was like, oh damn, Io.
Yeah.
Slay. That was awesome.
Yeah, I enjoyed the LA Knight AJ Styles match as well, Warren. I thought that match was really good.
And I was not expecting to like that match. I was ready to hate it. I was ready. But goddamn, I like a solid, good pro wrestling match. I thought we were going to get a 1985 house show style match because that's how LA Knight works.
What did you guys think about the Long Boy Gang?
What? Huh?
What's the Long Boy Gang?
Yeah, you guys didn't see that was the Slim Jim match, and they did this pan to the crowd where they were giving out Slim Jims to everybody, and they called it the Long Boy Gang, and they were just a bunch of dudes going crazy, and one dude went a little too far with his Slim Jim, but I just thought that was another one of those over the top product placements where it's like the Slim Jim Long Boy Gang. Now here's
I missed that. I missed that.
Must have been getting a snack.
It was a doozy.
Maybe. But
I also noticed too, by the way, real quick. I don't know for you guys. I have Peacock. I don't have the Peacock Premium, so I got a bunch of ads night one where I didn't get to see all of the video packages. Night two though. Night two, I didn't get any. It was all video packages.
Yeah, that's how night one was. Yeah, but
WrestleMania.
Yeah. So obviously there was a lot of stuff that we didn't super duper address, but I do want to address this Rock and Cody promo from the beginning of the Raw after Mania. So Raw after Mania, Triple H comes out. He basically says, here's the next new guy here. Here's the leader of this new era. Here's Cody. Cody comes out. They have a moment again. And Cody starts talking. And then The Rock comes out.
No. They had that little video monitor, and they had to be like,
Oh, that's right. Yes, they
yeah,
showed the video.
so many people in here.
Yeah.
Here's this little video.
Yeah, they didn't have the
monitor,
board, so
Cody.
they could get a lot of people. I forgot about that. Yeah. And
Yeah.
they showed this nice video. Yeah, they showed the nice video. Cody's crying. You know.
What a shock.
It's a nice video. Great. Okay. Then The Rock stuff happens. Now, The Rock is carrying this title. He carried it for WrestleMania 2 that Muhammad Ali's wife gave him on the Hall of Fame the night before. I have no problem. I know people were getting on I got no problem with him carrying the belt.
He's
Whatever.
a heel. It's fine.
Yeah. I got no problem with it. So he comes out and he's like, I'm here to like not really congratulate you, but I'm here to say, yeah, you finished the story. Like, well, yeah, okay, good. And he's talking like, yeah, you did, blah, blah, blah. And then he just goes, after a few minutes, he just goes, it's a nice title, huh? He goes, can I touch it? And I'm just like, what? I'm like, what is going on? And Cody goes, yeah, you can touch it. If you let me touch yours. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? That's what I'm saying to my brother. I'm like, what is this? What is this? And so they exchange belts, and The Rock has the WWE title, which you notice they dropped the Universal name. Didn't they drop?
Did they?
Was it?
Yeah.
I thought so. I thought when she announced it on Monday, he was just the WWE Undisputed Champion. I thought they dropped Universal. Maybe. Anyway, regardless. He's holding it, and The Rock just goes, this feels right. And then he just goes, The Rock needs to go away for a little bit. But when I'm coming back, whether you're the champion or not, I'm coming for you.
Don't break my heart again. Here's your
Don't
belt.
break my heart. And then he pulls something out, which we never see what it is. It's small, though. It could fit in Cody's hand.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. And he goes, here, this is for you. And he says, don't ever break my, at least, yeah.
No, and then he said, and what was weird, he goes, you don't even have to look at it. You know what it is. What?
Yeah. Don't ever break my heart again. I was like, is this the Godfather? What is happening here? 44 minutes this segment was.
Yeah.
44. The whole first hour was commercial free because this segment was the whole fucking first hour.
And you glossed over the fact that the fans did not want this. They're already chanting, this is awkward. This is day awkward. One of Cody's reign. And they're like, this is awkward.
Very bizarre.
Not a great look.
It's Lou's birthday, by the way. It's Lou's birthday, by the way.
Hey, happy birthday, Lou.
Happy birthday, King Lou. Spam the chat. L's in the chat for Lou.
What do you mean L? Don't give L's.
Well, his name's Lou. What do you want me to? W's in the chat for Lou. Happy birthday, Lou. God, Warren, that's science. I don't know. That was a very. I sat there. Everything after that, I was like, all right, this Raw after Mania was pretty good, but that I just was like, this is so weird.
Yes,
like,
and I don't.
Why does The Rock want to hold it? Why does Cody, after getting your ass kicked for months, go? Yeah, you can hold my brand new title that I just fought my life for. Here, go ahead and hold it.
Yeah, no. It kind of all stinks. I didn't like it, and it was 3/4 of an hour, which was insane. This really could have been this could have been an email, kind of thing.
Our show now, Warren.
Oh, look at that! Look at that. He'll be back. He'll come back.
Maybe. And Lawrence is saying real quick, saying it's not on Cody. It's The Rock being wildly awkward. Yeah, it's not on Cody, but it just was like.
But it dampens the moment, you know what I mean? Like this was Cody's address to the nation, essentially, and the first part was fine, and and he's crying because it's Cody, and it's all great, but ultimately it finishes off really weird. And look at what we're talking about. We're not talking about how great a promo Cody gave on his first address to the WWE Universe or whatever. It's like they were pretending like it was their penises. It's like, that's what we're saying.
And I know the Philadelphia crowd is historically harsher than other crowds, and I think you needed to probably take that in consideration if you're going to do this long drive. It was just awkward. Like, let me hold your belt. Why does Cody Rhodes want to hold that fake title. That, you know, why? That's what I don't understand. Like, and I know that the WWE tribalistic fans that I talk to on a day-to-day basis, it's storytelling. No, that was just. I thought The Rock was going to challenge him at Backlash, maybe. Like, but no, we didn't get that.
The Rock's not working.
No, I know. But I'm telling you that's where at least I'm thinking, okay, is this where we're going with this? Are we going to get a concrete, like, I'm going to take you down in France?
Wouldn't it have been much more interesting if Cody would have got, you know, Rock goes, you want to hold my belt? You know, Cody goes, no.
Yeah.
And, you know, you didn't earn this. That was given to you.
You just put my
it just would have been
name on it. Why in the hell would I let you hold this title that you told me you were never going to let me touch?
It would have been so much more interesting. Just like something where you're like, this kind of rules, you know, a little something there. No.
Why does Cody come in off looking soft, being like, yeah, I'll let you hold it? Why didn't you just say no, dude?
No. And your cousin tried to kill me on multiple occasions trying to get this belt. No, absolutely not.
What do you think this is?
What I miss. Lou was so pumped for his birthday. He's like, I'm turning off your computer.
Oh, we were just going on about the Philadelphia crowd chanting, "This is awkward" during that.
Yeah, very weird. Very weird.
Ryan's saying, listen, to be fair, he loves Cody, but half of his segments feel weird sometimes. Yeah. That's fair. Really. That's fair. That's how you feel. I'm okay with that. That felt like, because you had a lot of good stuff happening. You had, you know, Ilya Dragunov debut. You had Roxanne debut on the main. Maybe not debut, but show up. The John Cena stuff was awesome. See, Truth story. By the way, I know that like JPJ kind of doesn't like when I go down these little rabbit holes of like things I see on the internet, but I didn't realize that nobody understood the joke that John Cena's R-Truth's childhood hero, and
I know
R-Truth older. I didn't realize that there's a whole segment of people that if you post how happy you are that he got to live out a childhood fantasy, will tell you how old R-Truth and John Cena really are.
I know.
I didn't realize that until like yesterday.
Because it's children that are on the app, boys. It's kids.
Yeah. Kristen Ashley, between two beards is a fight. I can tell. Yeah, we fight sometimes.
Sometimes
we argue. He was getting mad at me. He was getting mad at me last week because I was
last week I was
just like, what if Triple H comes out and changes the stipulation of WrestleMania?
Like, stop. Now you're just getting funny. But
no,
talking about pro wrestling, can we keep it serious here?
Serious here, damn it!
I take my wrestling serious around here. Anyway.
But to be fair, every time JPJ something happened on WrestleMania, he texted me. He goes, "Called it."
I did.
Told you. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Look at this guy.
You know,
I told you CM Punk would get physical, though. I was like, oh damn.
How do we feel about that? How do we feel about CM Punk at Mania? His usage there, Lou is just
R-Truth could tell me anything, and I am in. R-Truth is my wrestler of the year right now.
That is my thing. Is like I very much love that moment of him getting that WrestleMania moment. He's been wrestling for a very long time, and he is over and funny. And I was fine with him getting that moment. I thought that was nice. And the whole thing with the Judgment Day on Raw, where he popped into the picture with the guy like that, it's funny. It's funny. It's good stuff. He's good at it.
R-Truth is legitimately funny. Like, he has timing, he has wit. Like, you know how sometimes in wrestling the wrestlers try to be funny, you know, and you're like, oh, I see you're being funny now. Whereas R-Truth is funny. He is
like legitimately good at that. He's very, very good. I thought that was great. And then it turned into that match where they referenced Cena, and then Cena actually, are you leaving now? Thanks. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
But
you get him some catnip?
I thought that no. That's the one thing I haven't done yet. He turned 4 today, so he's 4. God, I haven't given him really any. He's a psychopath without
no wonder he's kicking him off. No wonder
right? Like that's supposed to like get them going, right? Like that doesn't chill them out. That gets them going. Yes. He's a psycho anyway. So I don't want, I'm not having to, maybe when he's a little bit older and he's like starts to, I don't know at what
he's old
time
and tired, and
he's my first cat. I don't know at what time they start to chill out, but this dude's 4 today, and he don't chill. He's cool, but he don't chill out. Like he's rearing to go.
You know what'll chill him out?
But he's tearing shit up. That's what he's doing.
You know what'll chill him out?
What?
Formaldehyde.
Okay. Well, I don't want to do that. That doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound like that'll be good. I don't know. That didn't sound like that was a promising end to that. I like him. I like Lou.
I like him. I don't want to do that. I like him.
Does that work? Does that work on Kid?
Yeah.
Just asking for a friend.
He brings
Yes,
me
it
peace.
does.
we were talking about Drew McIntyre, CM Punk. Drew 5 years the champion.
It literally. Listen, I'm not against that because give me more psychopath Drew McIntyre, like just going off. Like,
Kristen, you have to understand when Warren shows up on Just Beards, that whatever is said in this 2-hour block, you just gotta just let it be. Like it does. Outside world, Warren is an upstanding citizen. In here, he is ruthless.
It's true. Give me more unhinged Drew McIntyre. I
shouldn't have been talking shit.
Yeah, it's his own fault.
Shouldn't have been talking shit.
Say your one line to CM Punk and walk away, Drew. Walk away. That's your own fault.
You put your bits, and like Punk said, you get too close. Man. Sometimes you got to
know. And CM Punk was trying to be reserved. He was sitting there taking it,
just like he was with Jack Perry.
If you're doing it for over a minute, I'm punching you in the dick. That's what I'm doing. And then CM Punk, he didn't do that, but he tripped. He did what he had to do. And then, what did you think about him doing the kiss thing? He brought the kiss thing back from Money in the Bank all that while ago. And then Damian Priest cashes in the second ever cash in at WrestleMania, and he is our new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. I really loved him. I don't know if anybody saw the press conference. I loved Damian Priest at the press conference. He talked about, first Puerto Rican champion and that heritage to him, and you could tell that moment meant a lot to him. That Triple H gave.
Oh, he's not. Did he say he was the first?
Well, first one in 50 years. In 50
okay.
Pedro Morales. Yeah. 50 years. 50 years. Sorry, not first ever. But he talked about how important it was, and they talked about the match.
Yeah, because it's only him and Morales, right? Basically,
yes.
Only
they
good
talked
for him.
about the match with him and Bad Bunny, and he said that he thought that match is really what put him on the map to be looked at as this type of guy, and stuff like that. And and then we saw, Judgment Day has the two main world championships. They're kind of running Raw right now. And CM Punk got involved with Drew in the main event as well to determine the number one contender for Priest, which is now Jey Uso. What do we think of the CM Punk involvement WrestleMania weekend when he was obviously limited with his injury? Did we like how they prolonged the Drew stuff, waiting for his inevitable comeback, which I assume that will be the match, right? So how do we feel?
I mean, they built CM Punk and Drew McIntyre so well. I thought it was on WrestleMania. Like I thought that was on the show.
Yeah,
it overshadowed Drew and Seth. Like the build to WrestleMania to me was really weird because I thought we were getting Cody versus Rock and Drew versus Punk on the card. Right?
Wasn't it funny that Drew was mad at Seth for focusing more on the Rock stuff, but then Drew was focusing too much on the Punk stuff?
But that's good heel behavior,
right?
Like that's good heel behavior. I think Drew McIntyre. I didn't think the heel Drew McIntyre stuff would work, but he's been tremendous, especially with a guy like Punk. I think he's even more entertaining than Punk. Maybe I'm biased, but but at the same time, it's like it's.
So are the Young Bucks.
So were the Young Bucks. So was Kenny Omega. No, not Kenny Omega. He hasn't been on AEW recently.
I miss
but
Kenny Omega.
I think his heel work has been great. I think he's been really on point. I'm discovering parts of Drew McIntyre that I didn't know existed. Like I didn't know he was such a good poster. online.
Yeah,
Like he's
unbelievable. His social media.
He won a
Yeah,
Slammy
real
for
good.
Social Media Player of the Year or something like
Yep.
that.
You know, so I think he's been very good, and I was kind of bummed with all this, how it all turned out. I mean, I don't want to kill anyone's buzz if y'all enjoyed this and Damian Priest cashing in. It's fine, like it's all fine. I just have thoughts on Money in the Bank. I have thoughts on the World Heavyweight Championship. That these are things that don't get me excited. These are things that I find Money in the Bank devalues. We're at a point now where it devalues the title as opposed to helping it. I don't, who recently has done cash-ins whose career has really benefited from it. Yeah. I think it was true years ago, but I think Austin Theory's not in a better place since cashing in for the United States title. But that's something, when I say devalues, and again, I feel like I'm a really cold shower right now, and I apologize, chat, and I know we'll come to the Mr. Warren Hayes show if you want more of this.
It's a good listen. You should go.
But I like having you on with these because I feel like it gives a good balance because you can only, you know what I mean? I think it's nice.
Because look, when I mean management, if management really thought, the bookers, whatever you want to call them, the creative, if they really thought that Money in the Bank was something really good that you could really bank on and really do something really interesting, why did no one cash in on Roman? No one cashed in on Roman. Why? Because the Roman's protected. Because the Universal title / Undisputed title was protected. They didn't want to fuck around with that. So they're like, no, we're going to go for the secondary titles and so on and so forth, which is ultimately why they created another secondary title in the World Heavyweight Championship, which is a title that I feel, despite the fact that Seth had great matches with Cody, and it's a title that is credibility challenged. I still think we're barely a year into it. And I don't think it has any.
Then Roman buried that thing,
and Roman buried it.
Very secondary to this WrestleMania.
When Cody, and remember at the start when Cody was supposed to challenge Seth. You remember that? I was looking at that and was like, damn, okay, now they want to make something out of that title because they're making it Cody's program. I thought it was really sad that Seth had to go pitch the idea to Cody. It's like, here's my PowerPoint presentation as to why you should challenge me for the World Heavyweight Championship. It's the workman's title. It's the title your dad would have approved of. It's like, come on, man. But I ultimately was like, okay, they really want to do something out of this. But then they pivoted it and it was all nonsense. And Seth has been lost in this shuffle from that moment on. And the title is too. So yeah, I'm glad people are excited about it. For me, it's just like, I just shrug. And it's like, okay, you get the big pop in the moment, and now we're gonna move on.
That's why I like having you on, because now I'm sitting here going, Seth ultimately sacrificed his title for the greater good of Cody Rhodes.
Yes,
kind of an interesting thing if you think about it, because he was banged up. Because he closed the show night 1 and then opened night 2, and I was like, who did Seth piss off that he has to open night 2?
If you were to tell me that Seth Rollins was on his way out of the company, I'd believe it. He's not. He's probably not. Yeah. But with the way that he was handled on WrestleMania weekend, losing his title, then coming in to do that interference spot that no one sees, Roman just turns around and decks him. And then he comes back in later and Roman just cracks a chair on him. You're like, if you were to tell me that he was leaving the company, I'd believe it. The guy lost his title. He left flat on his back.
Seth Rollins that weekend too. They showed him extra long when he lost to Drew. He was crying and he was like, "You deserve that." Him and Cody had that handshake at the end of night 2, and Seth was emotional and teary eyed.
I owe you one.
Yeah, I can see why you said that, because it was a very emotional, and he didn't have a good weekend. He lost the main event night 1.
He was geeked out completely.
Night 2, and then he got his ass kicked by Roman in the main event at night. Like he looked like a chump all weekend. Sadly.
All weekend.
All
complete
weekend he
geek.
looked like a chump. And
I agree.
Yeah, it is true. That is true. There is a draft coming up in 3 weeks, though, so they're gonna rearrange some stuff, and now we got all the new champions for Mania and all that stuff, and now they're gonna, the A-list show is going to Netflix at the end of this year, which next year I assume they'll do a draft again. But like, who do you want Cody Rhodes to be the world champion on Raw once it debuts on Netflix? Do you want him to be, I wonder how this draft is going to go, because the Universal Championship has been synonymous with SmackDown, even though it's on Raw half the time, because at the end of the day, after the draft, who the hell give that? A month later, it doesn't matter anymore. I do think if anybody, Triple H might stick to it, but he hasn't stuck to it for the booking to Mania, so who the hell is to know? But do we see, the Universal, you got to want Cody on Raw when they go to Netflix, right? Like, I would think Cody would be part of the,
your guess is as good as mine. Like,
they're gonna stack Netflix because they want it to be a raging success. I'm just happy. I'm just happy that they put the draft not in September, so that 2 months are like Brand Warfare Survivor Series. It's like, at least they can grow it a little bit.
I'm also interested to see how
that's the week of the NFL draft.
They do the draft this time. Yeah, it's the same week as the NFL draft. I have noticed some more sports-centric ways that they're kind of showing the product. I wonder if they'll just do the typical thing where they have somebody come out on the stage and they go, here's the round, or if they'll make it more with Pat McAfee involved as well. Will they make it more sports-centric NFL draft looking kind of? I would like to see if they do something that.
I'm very disappointed that we will no longer have the Fox robot in the decision room. That I think is the biggest loss. From all of this, honestly.
How is that? By the way, how does that?
USA still has Raw on their thing, but they're technically going to be drafting the future.
And then
but Raw is still
Fox
on
is going to be drafting the future of
Fox is lame duck this year, so they're like, well, I don't care.
Fox, exactly. They're like, I'm
Akira Tozawa, number one overall.
Number one overall, Tozawa, baby. Like they don't care.
Who is this? Maxine Dupree is pretty good, right?
Representatives from Netflix there, because this will go into that. Like, how are we doing this? I need to know.
Imagine, like, if this was legitimate and Fox was like, we're just gonna draft a lower card. Then fuck these guys.
100%.
WWE.
100%.
Number one choice, Akira Tozawa. Here we go. Okay.
It's a stunning turn of events. Fox takes Akira Tozawa. Cody Rhodes was on the board.
The snake picks for SmackDown and Fox, Akira Tozawa and Lexis King, the first two picks.
And then you got Cody in the green room, just like, well, now I have a news story. I have to avenge not getting picked number one overall. I'm coming for Tozawa.
In our last few minutes here, Warren, obviously.
Yeah, dude, show some
what was
respect,
your favorite
Warren. It's Cletus.
Yeah, that's right, Cletus. That's right. That's right.
What was your favorite non-WWE thing over WrestleMania weekend?
Brian Danielson versus Blue Panther over in CMLL.
I did not watch it. I heard it ripped. I heard that match ripped.
But look, 65-year-old Blue Panther, and he's still like, look, he's not as limber, right? Of course, but he's so incredibly smooth, and that match had such a beautiful crescendo, and it was tremendous. And Danielson is just a machine, and now they tease that they're doing it over here. But let's say we bring it back to something maybe not as off the grid as that, because it had nothing to do with WrestleMania weekend. I really liked Kyle Fletcher versus Lee Johnson on Supercard of Honor. It was a moves match. They're just dropping bombs. They're dropping each other on their heads. And Fletcher won the match by doing the Sami Zayn, El Generico turnbuckle brainbuster. So I really found it funny when the next night on Saturday, Sami Zayn pulls it out. And I was like, oh, I wonder if he knew that the kid did that.
And then everybody goes, that's a botched move.
And then it's like, no, it's
No,
it's amazing. It's tremendous. And
I think
it's
I saw somewhere
dangerous.
that even Twitter, like they had to correct everybody, going, "That's not a botch. That's
That's
an
not
actual
a bunch.
not
That's really something that happens sometimes in pro wrestling,
which
but
is gnarly.
which is weird. I think WWE fans should know about the move because they all went after Konosuke Takeshita when he legitimately botched it on Will Ospreay a couple of months ago. Huh.
Yeah.
Anyway, but no, like the Kyle Fletcher versus Lee Johnson was
Fantastic.
tremendous.
Mark Briscoe winning the Ring of Honor heavyweight title was a nice moment as well.
Lovely thing.
Nice
Great
moment.
match too.
Yeah.
On an otherwise very, very weird card. Everything was weird last week. Nothing like was woo, throw up your arms and get all this is great. Everything was kind of weird. And then it's Saturday and I finished NXT and I'm like, man, this turned out to be a big old stinker poo. So I pull up the Danielson Blue Panther match and I'm like, okay, this is the best thing I've seen so far. And it's not even happening in the United States, it was something.
I like it. Pluggo, do you have something to say?
Yeah, do you have something to say?
Oh,
no.
Oh, I thought you were getting ready to talk. I didn't want to talk.
Sorry.
No, I thought you were getting
sorry,
ready to
Warren.
talk.
No, Warren.
No,
He's coming at me.
We come
Something
in
to
peace.
say? No, I got nothing to
peace.
say. I thought the weekend was fun. I still have to catch up on some of the collective stuff because it's just there's only so much time in the day. But yeah,
Charlie Dempsey had a good little
him and Matt Makowski.
Yeah,
was very good.
I thought it was pretty good. I don't know what they're going to do with Dempsey. I can't anyway. Just because I feel like he's not a WWE guy the way he does. I don't get it. But anyway,
he's got such a cool little vibe to him, though. Like I do like seeing him, but you're right. Like he doesn't fit. He doesn't even fit in his own group, in my opinion. Like the no quarter.
He's definitely the oddball.
I'm like, it's just it doesn't work. But yeah, I thought the Bloodsport vibe. Like I was very.
I like that whole event. I thought Nick Nemeth and Speedball had a good one on that show. I liked the Masha Baszler match as well. I thought that whole event was pretty good. I really enjoyed it.
We could bring it kind of back to the WWE. Do you think that the success of the Bloodsport with Shayna Dempsey being a part of it, do you think that opens up the door for maybe some more WWE talent being involved throughout the collective weekend? I know there's some shows that I guarantee you they probably won't be involved in based on timing and things like that. And just I said last week, I think Effie's Big Gay Brunch will never see WWE because Effie's not because they're anti LGBTQ. It's because Effie said he's never gonna he's not gonna do any more of these, and he doesn't need that. He said, I don't need their help. I'm doing me. And then I think the clusterfuck and things like that, they probably won't be involved just based on the timing that it is. But the other events, you maybe because there was a lot of people at the Stardom event, not on screen but behind the scenes.
Yeah. I think the Bloodsport environment is perfect for them to have like a business arrangement for, because they have people in their company that grew up in that, mixed martial arts world, and that's a blend of that. And I thought it was perfect. And you saw people like Nick Khan was backstage, and CM Punk was there to watch the show, and I didn't know Dempsey was involved in it until I turned on the
Nobody
show.
did.
So okay, that was a surprise. Okay, because I didn't know if that was booked. Because obviously the only person I heard of was Baszler being involved, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like that's a match I'll watch with Masha rules. And then all of a sudden it was like, holy crap, Dempsey's here. And then obviously he's not with the company anymore, but Nemeth being there, I thought Bloodsport was really good. I enjoyed it, and hopefully. Pluggo last week when we were previewing it, he said he would have loved to have seen R-Truth show up at an independent show thinking it was WrestleMania. And I thought that's
pretty funny.
I was like, that would have been the segment of the weekend if they would have allowed him to, if he showed up at a GCW show and was like, WrestleMania, and he did oh, my bad, and left. That's it. That's all he has to do. That would have been amazing. That would have been.
That's pretty funny.
I've been championing that for months, and it didn't happen.
Once he said it on air, and I was like, "That's a great idea."
All I want.
That's a great idea, and it didn't happen, but it's still. But anyway, I watched a whole lot of wrestling last weekend, a whole lot of the collective and all that stuff, and it was a lot. But all in all, I enjoyed the weekend too. I mean, I love pro wrestling, so getting to watch a whole bunch of pro wrestling at worst, even if I don't like it all, is still better than
you have to pick one,
so,
and you have to hope the rest all die.
Exactly. You need to pick who you like, and the rest need to go out of
If
business.
you like Joey Janela's Spring Break, that's all you watch. You don't watch anything else.
The rest of it doesn't measure up.
And you have to defend it. You have to go to bat for it. You got to put yourself on the line for it. You can't. Yeah. That's what you got to do. That's how it works. That's how being a wrestling fan works.
And then you have to say objectively that the wrestlers on the other program just don't know how to wrestle at all. Mm-hmm. What do you think, JPJ? I thought you were better than this.
What did I do?
Like, it's a really weird vibe. It's a really weird vibe today listening to people say that Will Ospreay can't wrestle because of what he said.
Well, he's in AEW. That's where the best go to wrestle. I don't know if you've heard that, but that AEW is where the best.
That's what I hear.
Go to wrestle. Or is it where the big boy? No, that was the big boys play was. It's where the
key word is play, JPJ. I'm not here to play.
Look at the adjective. Well, that wasn't the adjective, sir. That's not how English works. But it's okay. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll figure it out.
So if you learn anything from this program, Drew, because we're running overtime.
Yeah, what a way to go.
You pick a lane. You stay in it. You don't ever give flowers to any other company ever.
Yeah, 100%. Warren, always a pleasure.
Dare you want to grow the business? Wow. How dare you?
Pluggo's still going. All right. We'll Warren, always a pleasure. You know you are welcome here anytime you want. Let the people know.
Thank you for having me.
I know your schedule is a little different now as you've kind of been getting back into the game here a little bit the last month or so. So let the people know kind of where to follow you, what they can expect from you, what you're kind of doing now, current state.
Well, guys, first of all, thank you for having me because it's always a good time to come and hang out with the both of you. We always it's light. It's like hanging out with family. It's cool. We always have a nice time. I always love coming here. So thank you very much for having me and my broken ass.
There's a crack in it.
So yes, I have been getting back into the swing of things, though. The Mr. Warren Hayes Show podcast. I usually do it live, but I'm recording these days just to ease back into it, and it's not as heavy-handed as doing a full stream alone, where you have to be one part entertaining, one part, and you know the drill. So, but I've been doing it for the past couple of weeks. So YouTube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes, or on your favorite podcast application. It's all available there. I also do a weekly Dynamite review, which is there as well. And on the YouTube, I've also been doing like shorter video clips. I'm testing stuff out. The shorter videos where I'm just expressing a thought on a particular subject, 15 minutes or so when we're out. I'm trying stuff out to see what's the good formula. Because listen, I did a 20-minute recording this week for Wrestlemania, reviewing everything. And my endurance still isn't quite there. At the end, I was gassed and
blown up.
Yeah, and I don't think it was really particularly good audio towards the end. So I'm fine. I'm going to find the balance. I'm going to find what I want to talk about, what I want to say, and what I need to do. We'll find a balance. Join me on this journey, won't you? YouTube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes.
I love it. Yes, go join. I watched the review. I watch most of Warren's things. It's a very good listen. It's a very good listen.
Thank you.
Yeah. And when or eventually they go back to live, there's always good people in the chat having some fun, and it's a good environment. It's a good community.
And if you want, you can just show up here every week. That's fine too.
Yeah, I mean, we'll always give you the links. So, Mrs. Pluggo saying we love Warren. Mrs. Pluggo.
Oh, thank you.
We absolutely love Warren. We
do.
We're so glad that you're back and you're getting back better than ever, and you're in the mix again because the wrestling world needs Warren Hayes, just like I need Warren Hayes.
100%.
Thank you, boys. I appreciate it. You're very kind.
But pick a fucking side, Warren. How? You only got here because you were grinding on
the boss's daughter.
Yeah. What's up?
Yeah. Wouldn't be nowhere if you weren't doing that.
How dare you get anywhere in life without any kind of help?
Unbelievable. Pluggo, let the people know where they can find us. I got to get the hell out of here.
You can find me in the unemployment line starting probably tomorrow. Because I'm sure Spencer is probably sick of me at this point. But yes, you can find, excuse me. Yeah, again, just ignore this window. Mrs. Pluggo's understood at this point that the things that I say on this program don't necessarily reflect those of Shoot Pluggo. Or do they? Anyway, you can find me at Pluggo_ on Twitter, at Pluggo on everywhere else. Facebook, I've been doing a lot over there. Please go over there. Help me out. I'm in the creator program. So any likes, subscribes, any of that fun stuff really helps me out. You can find me Saturday morning, 10 a.m. with Blair Pacheco. We're going to be talking independent wrestling the week that was, some of our thoughts on the past collected for exposure. Find me here with JPJ every Thursday night. Next week is our 150th episode.
Hell yeah.
That's insane.
Hell yeah.
I think it is with the specials and everything. But the Thursday night, 8 p.m. time slot, we have not done a show in 150 episodes. So that's pretty crazy. So go to @B2Beards on all social medias to stay up to date on what we've got going on there. And I keep saying this, and I promise this weekend I will put out an audio podcast, Unplugged with Pluggo, on all your favorite podcast applications. And I have writings on lovewrestling.ca.
He does a lot, people. Go give him all the love.
And the funny thing is, this weekend I was like, I don't think I do enough.
Yeah, I feel like that's how it always feels, right? That's how it always feels.
Look at this. She hasn't left me yet. You're not getting fired.
No.
Thanks, honey.
There you go.
So,
you can follow me on JPJ Loves Gaming on all social media platforms and over on the Twitch. We've been playing a lot of MLB The Show, some baseball the last few weeks. We're streaming about 4 or 5 times a week now. So, you can hop over there if you like that kind of thing. Thursday nights here, 8 p.m., the flagship with Pluggo, obviously, between two beards. Sunday mornings, 10 a.m. with our buddy Drew Nicholas, who was in the chat tonight.
Yes.
Firmly AEW, where we do a deeper dive into all the week that was and all things AEW. Again, Warren, thank you so much for being here. Hopefully we get to chat very, very soon again, my friend. For everyone in the chat tonight, our new friends that popped in the chat and our old friends and everybody there, we appreciate you all so much. We can't do this without you.
And shout out to Throwback, shout out to Ryan Sullivan, and shout out to DGMC for the super chats. Much appreciated.
Yes,
thank you, brothers.
Appreciate it. You guys know the drill. Until next Thursday, Pluggo and I will see you with Warren. Everybody, say hi to Sue. Peace out.
Special teams, special plays, special players.
Hey there, Pluggo and JPJ. It's Trent's mom, Sue, and I have a bone to pick with you. So, I understand that you guys are being real idiots and spending your entire monthly budget. You've got to be kidding me. This is not the way to be when you're trying to run a business. Your boss, Spencer, is really pissed off at you. I'm pissed off at you. You have some nerve. Get a grip. You have to control yourself. You can't just go out and spend all the money that you're making, you two beards guys. Oh no, this is coming out so stupid. Anyway, behave yourselves, or I'm going to cut you off from watching AEW. You're no longer going to get to know, be able to meet my son. What? Or me. I'm sorry, this is like, I don't know. Anyway, thanks so much for being fans. Watch yourselves. Knock it all.